Ross Benjamin. Welcome again to another edition of our Major League Baseball videos. We're going to be looking at the odds today to win the National League East. Once again, I'm joined by Doug Upstone from the great state of Arizona, where spring training Cactus League games are well underway. Doug, how are you today?
I'm excellent. I have seen a series of games. Most of these teams are out east, so I don't get a chance to see them, but I am well informed, Ross, as to what to do with these teams this particular season.
You always are. Let's get to the National League East odds. Is it safe to assume, Doug, we could just scrap talking about the Atlanta Braves and the Philadelphia Phillies, who are in rebuilding mode right now, and talk about the other three teams, namely the Washington Nationals? Boy, they look awful good. And the other two teams that may be surprise contenders, the Miami Marlins and the New York Mets. Your thoughts?
Yeah, exactly, Ross. And, and in terms of winning the division, I think maybe we can even scrap one more, even though they're a top contender, which is Washington, because their odds are so high. They're by far the largest favorites to win the division. And what I show at 475, minus 475, I should say, that makes them a hard bet. But the one thing that this team is loaded, they have a lot of positives. The last 2 years, or two of the last 3 years, they've won 96 and 98 games. So, they really have done a tremendous job. They have the best pitching staff in all of baseball. They're going to start the year not having their complete lineup, with Denard Span and Jason Worth not available. And if you want to find a little criticism about them, their bullpen is not the same as what it's been the last couple of years. And Drew Storen's really the only brand name, if you will, that they have. And we've seen him melt down in the postseason a couple times. But we're talking about long-term here, Ross, which is winning the division, and it's hard to go against Washington in this spot.
Yeah, they certainly. You look at their top five in the starting rotation, you'd be hard-pressed to find any team in baseball that can compare with that. Their bullpen, I do agree with you. I don't think they're terrible, and we're really picking at straws to find a flaw here, right? And again, yeah, Jason Worth, Denard Span out to start the year. Very deep team, though, Doug. So I think that they could hold serve, especially with that pitching staff. But I think you would agree at minus 475, not a great value, even though they're most logical play. The other two teams, Miami and the New York Mets, if I had to give you a choice between the two and say, let's take a shot at one of these teams, which one would it be, Doug?
It would be Miami, Ross, and I'm showing them at plus 600. And the thing that I like about them more than I do the Mets is the potential of the offense. We know Giancarlo Stanton is now signed up to be with the Miami for the rest of the first quarter of this century, so they're pretty set there. And then I look at the rest of their outfield, which is really a really nice young outfield with Marcell Ozuna and Christian Yelich. And when you consider that Giancarlo Stanton is the oldest of that trio at 25, a lot of potential here. Now, they've added some other pieces, particularly in the infield with Martin Prado, D. Gordon, and Mike Morse, maybe some at first base, will probably be sharing the position. So their infield is improved. We know their pitching is good. We've seen it in the past. Guys have gone hurt, and Jose Fernandez is supposed to be coming back at some point this year. They added Matt Latos, which I think will add a lot of veteran experience to this team. And so when they run through a couple of the hard spots during the season, I think he'll be able to do a good job for them. So if I'm going to take anybody, okay, I'm going to take the Miami Marlins to possibly win the division as the second choice, but for sure to finish second in the division.
Yeah, I like Miami, as you well know. And, a very astute observation from you when we were discussing baseball before the season began last year. You said you saw D. Gordon in spring training for the Dodgers, and you told me, Ross, I'm telling you, this guy is ready for a breakout year. Lo and behold, the guy hits 289, steals a multitude of bases, which we know he can do to start with, but you got to get on base first. If he could produce anywhere close to that at the top of the lineup, that's going to be a huge deal for the Marlins going into this year.
No question. I 100% agree. And I think their ballpark is a little more hitter. It's not a hitter's park, but it's more hitter friendly than certainly what Dodger Stadium is.
Absolutely. Anyway, we like the Marlins at plus 600 as our long shot. Me and Doug both agree Washington's a team to beat, but you're not going to get our money at minus 475. Doug, thank you once again for being with us and taking the time during this busy time of year to talk some baseball. We'll be back again with another version of our MLB Futures Odds videos.